If you can control this greed in you, that I need to have more, it's almost like you're brainwashed.
I think you gotta have a dream.
The School of Greatness.
Really? Yeah.
Please welcome Lewis Howes.
Do you have an affirmation that you can give people or that we could work on together to support people whenever they feel stress around money, that they can say this affirmation that will give them more peace? Do you have anything?
Yeah, something like money is love, money is my friend, money can help me achieve my dreams. So whatever positive affirmations you can come up with, I think anything is good. But I think money is my best friend is a good affirmation. When you worry about money, I would say money is love. So when you think in my head, money is love, instead of money is a scary person, I think you feel a lot less stress.
But how does someone, if they've lived in stress around money for their whole life, their entire life, they've been afraid, how can they start to use that affirmation, and how long will it take for them to start to believe it, to feel it?
So I think you have to look back on your relationship with money since you're 5 or 6. We wake up to the reality of the world when we're around 5, 6, 7. I used to be a volunteer at my daughter's kindergarten, and I asked one of the boys at the kindergarten, and what are you going to get for Christmas? And he said, "No, Santa Claus is not coming." And I thought, "Oh, why? Why is that?" And he said, "Because my parents are poor."
Interesting.
"Whoa, really? Who told you that?" And he said, "My mom."
Wow.
So, we are waking up to the reality when we are small. And then since then, we've had so many negative messages around money. So I have a fun collection of saying when I visited Europe a few weeks ago. There's all the sayings that we were told since we are 5 or 6. Money, they don't grow on trees in America, right? Yep. If you don't have money, you don't have a head. That's a scary thing.
Sure.
So all those phrases keep telling us that money is not a happy thing. But when you start thinking, you must have some fun memories too around money. A certain gift that you're so happy to receive, and the scholarship, or the happy money that you get from your grandparents or your parents or friend. They buy you for Christmas gift or birthday present. There is so much happy money in your life, but you forget because we are so overwhelmed by the stress around money.
Right. Yeah, maybe there was a trip you went on with a friend or family. You went on an adventure, and that money provided that memory, that experience for you.
Right. It was worth the money, right? There's a happy saying.
Yes.
So there are many positive sayings around money as well.
And you grew up in Japan, is that right? And so in Japan, are people just as anxious and stressed about money as they are in America, or is there a different belief around it?
Yes. We have different kind of stress, because it's so interesting. In North America, when, say, your college buddies, right? After 20 years of graduation, you bump into one another, and you don't ask each other how much do you make a year.
No,
right?
In U.S., no.
No, right? And in Japan, we casually talk about it.
You talk about how much you make?
Yes.
Really?
But in North America, I think you're going to lose a friend if you bring that question.
Why do people in the culture talk about money and how much someone makes more frequently?
Because I think how much you make is not as tied up with how much your worth is. But in North America, it seems culturally, it's nothing wrong, but how much you have or how much you make equals how much you're worth. So it's more taboo here. But what's interesting is when you grab your Japanese friend and then ask him how many times you have sex, he's going to freak out.
Right. So, but in America, people might talk about it more.
Right. They will probably enjoy talking about it, right? So I think there's a different kind of taboos.
That's interesting.
Which I really enjoy so much.
That's interesting. Now, with the culture of people just talking about it more openly with their friends or family, what does that do for the culture then around money? Does it make it less scary? Does it make it more effortless for people to work? What is that like?
And in China too, people casually ask you how much you make,
Really?
or how much money you have, or how much
Strangers too, or just
Yeah,
friends?
and also friends, and also like how much is the rent, or how much does this condo cost? Like what's the weather today? The Siri would answer you, right? So it's as easy as that. So in a culture like that, people are more open, and they can confront themselves about what's working and what's not. But in North America, everything around money is such a taboo that it seems, because I've been listening to many couples in America, it seems like it's almost like a taboo for a couple to talk about money.
It is.
Unless something really comes up and it's like an eruption of volcano.
Sure.
But you should talk about it long before the eruption.
Problems. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So do people in relationships or married people in Japan, do they talk about money pretty frequently? Do they talk about it before they get married? Is there stress around money in the couples?
Of course, definitely. Yeah. That's why my books are so popular in Japan. So, it's the same, but it's a kind of different stress.
Gotcha.
And in Japan, of course, you fight over money, but surprisingly, women are more in control of money.
Really?
Yes. Probably like from American culture, guys control it, but actually all my friends, guy friends, they are controlled by their housewives.
They control the money.
Right, and they're given a certain allowance money.
The men?
Yes.
Are the men making the money and then giving it to the women and saying, okay, tell me what to do?
Yeah. So one time I talked with a housewife in Japan, and she said, I'm afraid of money. And I'm so worthless because I'm not making money. And I asked him, but who is financing the whole thing? And it's my husband. So you are, ma'am, you are the business owner. He is the worker. So
sure.
You get the fruits.
The woman's the business owner.
Right.
The man is the worker, as we're saying.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then she said, yes, I never know that. I've never known. So now I'm going to make him work harder. Everybody laughed.
Make more money for me. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So it's a different kind of stress, but it's so hard for us to really confront financial issues because we have so many emotions around money. It's universal.
I love your point where you said in North America, most people tie their self-worth with their net worth.
Yes.
Right? Their bank account, how much is in there, how much they have, with how valuable they are as a human being, right? The quality of their character and how they add value in the world.
Right.
But in Japan, I'm hearing you say it's less that way. It's more people don't tie how much money they have with how good of a person they are.
Yes, and also like how many friends you have. Not on Facebook, real friends. And also like school teachers are so well respected, for example. They're not making so much money, but occupations like that are highly respected.
Really?
But here in America, it seems like there's not much respect for school teachers, which I feel so sorry about. So if you make money, you're golden in America. But there must be some kind of criteria, like how much you're contributing to the community or how much satisfaction you get out of work. But just numbers, they don't really translate into happiness.
Well, I think you see that in America where there might be a lot of people who have a lot of financial success. They have a lot of money, but their relationships are broken. Their marriages are fall apart. They're, they don't feel good about themselves.
Right.
They don't have fulfillment, right? Because it's been focused just on money and not on service. How can I add value as well?
Yes.
Right? So I think it's important to be aware that a rich life is not just about how much money you make. It's about how good you feel about yourself in your life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm curious, what do you think are some of the beliefs that hold people back from keeping them to create the wealth that they want to have, from making more money? What are some of those beliefs that says, I'm not able to do this because why?
Because we feel so unworthy for the abundance. So it doesn't really matter how much money you make or how much money you have. After paying all the bills, you don't have much money left.
Taxes, bills, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
If you make $30,000 or $100,000 or $1 million, because the cost is going higher,
Your lifestyle. Yes.
Right. And you used to have one car, second-hand car. Now you need Tesla, and you need second home and third home. So you really have to see how to satisfy with yourself with less.
Yes.
And at the same time, you can have more. So you can have more than necessary. But the food prices are going up and the gas prices are going up. So we're almost like drowning in the sea of bills.
Yes.
And then they're just, going up. And then we are drowning in that.
Right.
So instead of feeling that or overwhelmed by the bills, you can be creative and come up with the ideas that you can contribute to the world. So by doing more contribution, you get more money. So if you are more creative about serving the world, serving other people with your gifts, with who you are, you can create the flow of happy money. And as a result, you can receive more money. And if you can control this greed in you, that I need to have more, it's almost like you're brainwashed by marketing techniques. And even though you're wealthy, you keep complaining about how much you don't have. Once I had an interview with a private jet owner, and I thought, you're such a big success. And he said, no, I'm just a small thing. Because when I pull over to this special terminal,
It's a bigger jet.
there's a lot bigger jets. And mine is so small, it seats only 6 people. So I feel so small when I pull over with my Mercedes because they're just Rolls Royce and all the big cars. And then I feel so small. So you have to ask yourself, when is enough? How much is enough? That's when my Zen teaching comes in. You have to know who you are, and you have to know the right money container size. I think we're born with a certain money container size.
Really? What does that mean?
And say some people are not equipped with so much money, and you don't need so much money. So you can be satisfied with less. Like say if you're a school teacher, you don't need to have 3 Mercedes-Benz. And you don't need to live in a big mansion. So if you feel like, I don't need to make that much money, I know how to satisfy myself, and you can do that.
I live a rich, fulfilled life with what I make.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So instead of just going pursuing wealth, you can find invisible assets, which I also teach about. I haven't really taught in English yet, but there are visible assets and invisible assets. And in fact, invisible assets are super more important than visible assets.
What are some examples of invisible assets?
Like friendship, trust, happiness, love, generosity, kindness. All the great things in life are invisible, but yet people can feel it. If you bump into somebody and if he or she is so kind, you feel it.
Yes.
So unfortunately, generosity and kindness are not regarded as a great thing. But I mean, in North America, I've seen news that people just, do something right. And then they turn their wallets to the owner. And they're happy stories. So people still respect.
Yes.
Honesty is another one. So there are so many great assets that we have. But when we look at our lives, we evaluate to 0. So even though you have not much in your bank account, if you have so many friends, and if you have so many people that you care about you're in heaven.
Yes.
But you look at your bank account, and then if it's a small number, you get depressed. So you have to look at invisible assets, and you should be happy.
And focus on the invisible assets as well.
Yes, because I'm sort of joking, even though you don't have any money, if you have more than 50 friends who let you stay for 1 week.
Hey, you're rich.
Yeah, and you can spend the whole year by visiting your friend.
Yes.
And after 1 year, you can go back to your friend number 1 and say, it's been a year, how are you?
I have a great friend, his name is Jesse Itzler, and for I think at least 1 year, maybe 2 years, when he was in his early 20s, he stayed on like 10 different friends' couches. He didn't have enough money to pay for rent, but he had friends that he stayed with that all of them are still his friends today. He's in his 50s,
Yes.
30 years later, and he's an extremely successful business entrepreneur now, but he had a free place when he had no money because of his generosity,
Yes.
his kindness, his honesty, his lovability, all those things, which are invisible assets.
Right.
Which turned into financial assets.
Yes,
later.
yes. And talking about invisible assets and generosity, I so want to show my appreciation to American people. 30 years ago, 30 some years ago, I was 19, and I made up my mind to explore this kindness factor in North America. And I came here without much money, and I tried to have a one-year experiment.
Really?
Depending on generosity of American people.
When you were 19?
Yes, and I bump into, like, say, an old man in the park, and then I ask him, is there any restaurant that I can eat for at the very, very, no money? And he said, okay, I'll take you there. And they pay for my dinner. And if you don't have any place, why don't you stay with me? So for a whole year in 1987, I depended on American people's generosity. And after 1 year, I had the same amount of bank account money, and then I could go back.
Wow.
And I've been writing, my experiences like that, and it's a national bestseller as well. So America is so generous, and I think people may not feel because you're living here. So I really believe in American people's generosity and openness. Some people just let me stay as long as I wanted.
Wow.
Yeah, so I still feel like I owe America a lot.
That's beautiful. How many people helped you in that year?
I think probably at least 16 or 20 people.
That either paid for something or let you stay at their place or
Yes.
helped you in some way?
Yeah, so whenever I bump into an American young people, like, okay, I'll buy your lunch and dinner in Thailand. So I bump into an American tourists, like backpackers, and okay, I'm going to pay your lunch. Because somebody else, an American, just they pay mine.
That's beautiful.
So I try to pick up in a tab for Americans especially.
That's interesting because when I was in my early 20s struggling financially, I was reaching out on LinkedIn to business leaders, mentors that I thought could help me. And a lot of them took the time to take me out to lunch, and they would pay for me because I couldn't afford.
Right.
And that was happened for about a year and a half where I didn't have the money to pay for my own stuff. And I remember saying, feeling really bad that I couldn't pay for myself and saying to myself, if I make money one day, I want to make sure I pay as many meals as I can with friends and things like that. So I always try to pay. It's so hard for me to let someone pay for me now at a restaurant because I'm I just want to keep paying it forward, you know?
That's beautiful.
But you never know the impact you can have on someone with a gift, with a financial gift. So I want to ask you about the money container size, which I think is interesting. Do you feel like we're all born with a certain size of a container for how much money we should be able to bring in? Or does the container expand and grow based on our environment, on who we grow up with, our wisdom? You talk about that?
Of course. Say some scholars, who are not interested in money at all, they focus on their research and what they can do academically. So their money container is small, but they're okay. I call them money indifferent type, by the way.
Money different?
Money indifferent type.
Money indifferent. They don't care about money.
Yes. And
just enough to provide for their food and their house.
Yeah, so some government workers like politicians or nurses, I see them among those occupations who are giver, who are just service people, right? And like some military people who are really into service, and then they don't really care how much they have as long as they can make a living.
Right.
So those people are born with small ones, and of course by learning about business and investment, you can make your money container bigger.
Right.
But there's a little bit of a difference here when you want to grow your money container. Because in North America and Europe, I often get asked by interviewers, Ken, how can I make my container bigger?
Right.
But in Japan, in the East, I get different kind of question about money container. The question would be, Ken, how can I be satisfied with what I have instead of just trying to make it bigger? but I don't know how to do that. So can you teach me how to satisfy myself with where I am? So it's a different approach. So you need to have both.
So how can people in America, North America, and around the world be satisfied and grateful for where they are and still strive for more?
Yeah, so it's more of a find 100% fulfillment with where you are. And then if it's your path, it's going to grow. If it's not your path, you don't have to make it grow. But there's almost like a religion here in North America. Bigger is better. The more is better.
Supersize, yeah, everything.
Right. But think, just wait a second and just think about it. Do you want a super big house if you're only two of you? If you have like 7 kids, you need a big house. But if it's only 2 of you, maybe it's time to downsize and because so that way your lifestyle will be more humble. So you really have to know when to sort of like grow and also when to end your life. So you have to start facing, say you're in your 50s or 60s, you have 10 years to prepare approaching to your death. But a lot of people in the 60s and 70s, they want to act forever they're 21.
Right.
So, but you're going to die. So you have to prepare for the end of your life. To do that, you really have to say, because your life goes up and down, right? You cannot keep climbing up the mountains. So at some point, you have to start descending. So in financial terms, you have to start spending what you have accumulated.
Don't just keep it in the bank.
Yeah. So one of the books in North America I love is Die with Zero. The concept is, can you die with zero at the end of your life? Which is very hard. A friend of mine whose mother died with only $7 in her bank account.
Really?
I think it's a master of money because she calculated how much it's going to cost for her funeral.
Wow.
So she just withdrew all the money and she gave all the money to her grandkids, which is like a few $100s. No, she's not a wealthy person. And she died with only $7. So it's almost like she landed so beautifully.
Wow, that's beautiful. Why do you think people are so greedy to want to make more money? And they have this greed inside of them to accumulate, to attract more. Why do you think that is? And what's the difference between wanting to make more money for a good reason and wanting to make more money because of greed?
Right. Louis, you keep asking me so many great questions. I'm so enjoying the interviews.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to appreciate.
Thank you.
So there are many ways to react to financial situation. I have taught about money EQ. So when I realized this when I was at the conference table to file inheritance taxes for wealthy men. And here there are three people, their kids, right? A wife and 3 kids. And they're born and brought up in the same household, but the eldest son looks like a Wall Street type, nice wear suit and short haircut. And the second daughter looks very humble. And the third one looks like hippie. And
Sure.
Are they related? And then I realized that to financial situation, if you're worried, you might end up becoming a money maker. If
you're worried.
If you're worried.
If the responsibility is on you,
right? So
you're the older.
By making more money, you try to fix the worry. And if you worry, you may want to become a spender because you feel powerful when you spend the money. So if you worry, you want to be a saver. By saving, you can feel the security.
Yes.
And so there will be a warrior. You do nothing, but you keep worrying.
Yes.
So to financial situation, there can be many different ways, and different personalities are born. So I'm fascinated with this subject because you never knew that you were a spender, you were a money maker, and your question comes toward money maker type.
Yes.
And a happy money maker type knows that they can contribute more, so they're in the flow of happy money. And a money greed, money maker type, they end up losing a lot of money.
They do.
Yeah, because they try to increase and multiply their money, which means they take more risks. So they are likely to get into scams. And I've seen so many
Quick money.
Yes, get scammed by people who try to get the money.
Yes.
So that's life.
Sure, yeah. What do you think is there's so much happening in talks, specifically in America, with interest rates going up in America, inflation going up to over 8.5% recently, I think. The housing market, and just the uncertainty of the economic situation in America. What do you think people should be investing in? What types of assets for the next, few years with all of the uncertainty? What would be a great investment that's not a try to get rich quick investment, but something that would deliver good returns, hopefully over time?
Right. So I taught this course online, and like 8,000 people watched me teach this online. So I taught about financial independence and visible assets and invisible assets. I see there's going to be a big change. It could come as a crash of Wall Street, but it's more. I think I see a bigger thing is going to come.
Like what?
Like the collapse of financial system.
Really?
Because we've printed so much money, and then it's going crazy. It's out of control. So we never know what's going to happen. Nobody can predict. So even if you invested in bitcoins and cryptocurrency, it shut up and then down. And gold and silver is real gold and silver coins for not super wealthy people. I recommend that. But, in 1930s, U.S. government prohibited from owning gold. So
why?
you have to, because to protect dollars. So if that kind of thing happens, even though investment in gold is good, but what if they change the law and then it could become a felony about owning gold without reporting it, right? So those things, real estate can be quite risky because it shut up that much, it could possibly go down, at least back to 10 years or 20 years. So all the things that it got inflated could go down. So there's no safe investment. That is something you have to really know. So whatever you invest could end up in half or 30% down. So instead, I recommend people start looking at invisible assets. Because what if you lose everything overnight? If you have gold, what if the government tries to take away to pay all the bills and stuff, which is really happening in China, by the way.
Really?
So if that happens, I guess you have to be prepared for unthinkable situations. But as I said, if you have so many friends who can support you financially or emotionally, you're okay. So instead of having so much money in the bank account, you should have the trust and strong connections with friends around you, and also reputation with your clients. So when the next financial system sets in, we might end up using the same currency worldwide, because there could be a big crash. China is falling down because of the real estate crash.
China is?
Yes.
Wow.
And if you Google it, you can see it. And then all the people who have to pay the mortgage for the buildings that's not even built, they started not paying for the loans.
Really? Wow.
Which is a big deal. So either way, from somewhere, there could be the start of the crash. So whatever happens, if you have the strong connections with people around you, you can start over from
zero.
From zero.
I asked you this in our last interview. I said, okay, Kat, imagine you've lost all your money right now, and you had to make $1 million in a year. I don't know if you remember your answer, but I asked you this, and you said, I said, what would you do? And you said, well, I would just call my friends up and say, can you give me money? I'd call 10, 20 of my friends up and say, can you give me $100,000 each? Or can I stay in your house for free and you would offer a service to those wealthy friends that you've created trust and invisible assets with.
Right.
And sell them something new or whatever it might be. And it's because you have great relationships.
Right.
That's why you could do that.
Yes.
So what I'm hearing you say, Ken, is it's important to invest in yourself, which is developing more credibility, respect, and a better reputation with your friends, your colleagues, the industry you're in, your team, things like that. So that if that happens, you'll be able to get something going again.
Yeah, so in a sense, I'm having a huge deposit to people's heart. I have given away my booklet for free to 2.3 million people.
Wow.
So I have a list of those people that I have given away, right? And so they feel like they owe me. That's why they're buying my books and courses. So I have a huge sort of invisible asset and trust already saved up. And I've been giving away for so many things for the past 20 years. I've done lectures for free. I've done so many volunteer work for the people who are in need. So I have this reputation and trust among people. So in the next situation, so whatever happens, I can say, I'm going to talk about the next situation and how we can build our assets in the new currency system, new financial system. A lot of people want to listen to me. So I have built enough credibility. So that's why I'm not afraid of going bankrupt. Because if I go bankrupt, I can say the joy of bankruptcy. I can just say 8 steps to recover from bankruptcy.
Right, you have a new book.
Right, whatever that is.
I did, and I'll teach you how to do it. Yeah.
Right, so I'm not worried about anything at all.
Yeah.
Instead, we have to let everybody know that if something big is going to come, it's not as bad as World War II. So we can all go through this together.
Yes.
But we have to help one another. That is a key.
Yes.
So that is also a concern I have for about us, because our hearts are so separated because of the politics or religion or the scarcity mentality. So we are having less compassion toward each other.
Sure.
So I think for the next few years we're going to experience a lot of anxiety and worries because of what's going on in Ukraine and everywhere. Right, everything we see is depressing, to be honest.
It's very depressing.
Right, but at the same time, it's not as bad as 100 years ago.
True.
So
when everyone was starving. Yes.
Right. So we can go through this, but to do this, we have to be kind to one another. We have to show a generosity. So if you feel like you have more than enough, you have to start sharing what you have at the worst time, which could come in years.
When do you, if you could predict, obviously no one knows, but how do you think there's going to be a bigger recession or some type of crash in some way in the U.S. economy or in the world? And when do you think that will happen?
I see, I already feel it in 2023. So
you think next
year?
Wow.
Because a lot is going to happen with the U.S. election and also the potential conflict in China and Taiwan, and also the gas shortage and everything, and also so many tons of wheat is stopped at the port of Ukraine, which could cause a starvation in African countries. So we're going to see a lot of chaos in the next few months.
Really?
Yeah, and we're going to experience a lot of gas shortage in European countries, which they're thinking about because the gas stopped coming to Germany. So a lot of change is going to happen in the next few months.
What, for everyone listening and watching right now, what would be the next 3 steps they should take after listening or watching to this around their invisible assets, their visible assets, or just the next 3 steps they should take in life to prepare for this?
Right. So mentally, you have to be ready to find your peace of mind. So you can start counting your blessings, start appreciating what you have, and enjoy the flow of happy money. So when money comes in, you can say, thank you for the money given to me. When you pay for the bills, thank you, I have enough abundance so I can pay the bills. and start blessing people that you're giving money to. So by doing that, you can find your peace of mind
Yes.
in whatever you do. And I think that's the basic.
That's number one.
That's the base. And also, secondly, you have to start figuring out your inventory, what you have and who you are.
What type of inventory?
Both emotional and also your gift. I never knew I could write until I was 33.
Really?
My parents were so surprised, and my brother and sister, and many of my friends were so surprised that I became an author. And I was the one who got surprised most, by the way.
Yeah.
So I didn't know until I started writing. So I'm sure you have some kind of gifts buried in you. For example, Luis, you are an athlete, so definitely you knew your gift as an athlete, but probably you didn't know that you had a gift as an interviewer.
No, I had no idea.
Speaker.
Yeah. Writer. I had no idea.
Writer, right? Yeah. And also somebody who can motivate people.
Right.
You know, you use it for you to motivate yourself, but you didn't know you can impact millions of people.
I had no idea.
Right? So like when you are young, in your 30s and 40s, you never knew. And so you have to start looking at what you have.
What skills, tools that you've developed that you could use if you need to. Yeah.
And you have to multiply them because only single gift is not taking you far. But if you can multiply your gifts of speaking, for example, and also listening, and a sense of humor, and the care, generosity, if you combine all of them, you become so unique.
Yes.
So once you become so unique, people start just coming to you because you're more attractive.
Right.
Yeah. So
okay. So that's number 2 is find out your inventory of your assets and your gifts. And I'm also assuming your inventory of like how much money you have, your investments, what you.
But it's not so important.
Okay.
Because if you are not making much, it's not much anyway, right?
What skills do you have?
Yeah.
Skills. Yeah.
Right. So if your net asset is less than $300,000, don't worry about investing. I think you should invest in yourself.
Invest in you.
And take your friends out for dinner because it's going to pay more dividend. So
be generous with your energy, your time, your gifts.
Yes. And then the third step would be start getting support from everybody. You know, I have, say, for example, more than 10,000 people sending me money every month as a form of subscription online salon.
Yes.
So, and I haven't promised anything to do for them. So it's just a love money. So
This is what type of money?
Love money.
Love money.
Yeah.
So 10,000 people pay you money every month
just
because they love you.
Yeah.
$10.
That's how I feel.
Wow. Are you offering them anything? Are you giving them any
I just say, I had this fun interview with Louis today, and I'm in Stockholm. I sent some videos, but I'm not promising like I do this, so I give you this, so give me this.
Right.
No, it's more of a casual thing.
That's cool.
So I have enough trust from people. So the happy money, so almost like is given in my custody, so I can help other people.
That's cool.
So if you start getting fan clubs or cheer supporters, so you can start with 5 people, and you can start having 10 people, 30 people. So the next economy will be very interesting because a lot of people support one another. So instead of working for one big company, say I have 300 people supporting me.
Right.
Say, and you can increase your monthly support money. Say $100 per month. If I get a support from 30 people, $100 a month, that's $3,000.
Right.
And if you get 50 people who are supporting you with $100, you already have a $5,000 income. So whatever you do, you don't have to be the next entrepreneur of the world. You can satisfy, or at least you can have deep connection with 50 people or 100 people who love you so much and who's not going to let you down when you fall.
Yes.
So if you have that strong trust from people, you don't have to worry about money for the rest of your life.
Wow. What should be financial goals that people create for themselves? Should they have financial goals?
I don't think financial goal is necessary. If you want to buy a big house, you may need to have that.
Sure.
But But financial goals people come up with, it's because they want to feel safe, sense of security. So you don't need to have a goal of $1 million, because when you reach $1 million, you feel like this is not enough.
I need more, right?
I need 2. And when you reach 2 millions, no, I think I should have
10.
3.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, so instead, what I would recommend is once again, get support from 50 people. And at the same time, if you can, imagine a joint account with your wealthiest acquaintance. You can think of me, or for me, I think of my mentor Wahid Takeda or Warren Buffett. Think about your imaginary joint account. And when something bad happens, you can withdraw as much money as you want.
Really?
So this fun illusion, like imagination.
What does that do for you when you have that imagination?
You feel that you're not alone, and if you're lucky, like when I was young, I had 3 millionaires who endorsed me, saying, "Ken, you can do whatever you want, and if you fail, I'm going to support your life for the rest of my life."
Man, does that happen in Japan a lot?
I think I heard a few Americans who experienced the same thing.
Wow.
So just imagine if you get that sense of security. Louis, I'm gonna just keep you afloat as long as I live.
Wow.
And so go for it.
Okay. I'll text you if I need you, Ken.
Yeah. So if you get an endorsement from wealthy people like that,
that's cool.
You don't have to worry about it. Just so imagine.
How does someone get an endorsement from someone who has a lot of money like that? What can they do?
I think you have to live your life purposes. That's another subject. But if you are living your life purpose, a lot of people support you.
It's so true, because when I see someone who's coming up in business in their early 20s or something, and I see that they have a gift and they're using the gift consistently to create some type of value for the world, I notice it. I see it. I'm like, you're doing an amazing job. I'll reach out and message people and say, I love what you're doing. Keep it up. And I think even just doing that, showing people, hey, you're doing a great job, gives them encouragement to keep going, whether you're giving them money or not, but that's something you can do. And I think it's hard to see that when someone's not using their gifts.
Right.
You're not going to endorse someone if they're just like, everything is against me, the world is challenging, and I don't care about life. But when someone says, I'm going to take a risk, I'm going to use my gift and put myself out there, that's inspiring. In your book, which I love, by the way, again, I want to get this book, Happy Money, you talk about, I think you use a concept called money magnet, or like humans are like magnets and for money, right? And some people, it doesn't matter if you are a good person or a bad person, right? You have an analogy in the book where you say, if a rock is falling, it doesn't care who it hits. It could hit a good person or a bad person.
Right.
Its gravity is pulling that rock to the ground, and it's going to hit whoever it hits, right? Based on where they're at. So, and you also talk about how most people think that it's not fair when they see someone bad or mean or greedy making all the money. Can you just talk about this concept of being a money magnet and how someone can become more of that?
So once again, we experience life according to our beliefs. And some people have better luck than others. And some people work so hard, but they're getting minimum wages. So you have to find your place, your seat, your reserved seat is what I call. A lot of people try to sit on other people's seat, which is wrong, because your seat is reserved somewhere else. And if you don't sit on other people's seat, what happens is that you get so depressed. And then you feel so meaningless, and all that, because you cannot really feel life. But once you sit on your seat, you are so deeply connected with your life purpose, then you start, your magnetism gets turned on.
So how does someone know where their seat is and know how to sit in it? and be happy with their seat.
Yeah, so the only thing is ask your heart, what your heart tells you. If you're excited about it, you're going closer. And so like, it's like hot or cold, right? So if you feel more excited about like doing this, this is it, this is it, this is it. So you have to have your heart guide you where you're supposed to be. So always listen to your heart, and then if your heart gets excited about a certain thing, you're just getting closer to your seat.
Do you have a meditation or affirmation process for someone on how they can trust their heart, listen to their heart deeper to know they're on the right path?
Right.
Do you have something that you use yourself or that other people can use?
Yeah, so I always try to have a few minutes, say you're waiting for a car, a Uber, or just waiting for something. I find a few moments and then just try to find my center, and then just go deeper and figure out where I want to go, and just listen to my heart. What does my heart say? Am I excited about this or not? Am I trying to get money? So I'm not excited, but I have to do this to bring money on food on the table. So I always check what my heart tells me.
You're always listening to it. What happens when your heart is not excited? Like let's say you have a project you're working on.
Right.
You're working. I'm assuming all of your books you're excited about, but maybe there's an event you're supposed to go to, or I don't know, something that you said yes to, and you realize your heart is not excited about this. What do you do then? Do you do it, but then you don't repeat it the next time, or how do you navigate that?
So I want to be a nice person. So once I said yes, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I try to be very careful with what I say when I say yes. So I have a great team. So they'll just check.
Yeah.
They'll check, even because I want to be nice to everybody. So I'm likely to say yes too many times. So my secretary and my team says, Ken, are you sure about this? Yeah, probably not. So can you come up with something?
Well, I'm glad you're here and you didn't reschedule this interview.
Yeah, so, but in general, I'm trying to listen to my heart.
That's good.
That let me hear.
I think a lot of people don't understand the power of a daily affirmation or a daily check-in with yourself, just like you talked about for 2 minutes. For someone that doesn't believe in affirmations, what would you say to them?
So even if you don't believe it, you must be saying something to yourself. Like, this is a terrible day. It's so hot. I don't like this. So subconsciously, you're saying something about your life or about yourself, about your friends or about your clients. Oh, I hate working with this person, something like that. So I think it's a affirmation by itself. So just write down what are the things that you say to yourself subconsciously. You can probably figure out.
Right.
And is that a happy thought? And then, unfortunately, a lot of the things that we talk to ourselves are negative.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you want to feed negative thoughts like this? Or do you want to pour more positive thoughts? You have a choice. But unless you write them down, you never know it. And then you may find that the reason why you get depressed, because I keep
all these negative thoughts,
about life. No wonder I feel depressed. So if all the things you talked about about you are positive and loving, it's what you get.
Yeah, exactly. And can you tell me how we can think about money as energy? In the book also, I saw you writing about how money is energy, and sometimes people try to make it and hold on to it. They want to hold on to it, they want to stack it in their bank as high as they can go, and they don't want to spend it. Sometimes it happens. What happens when we hoard money, when we keep it and we don't let it come and go as energy? What happens?
So I have seen so many interesting things. Like when if you hoard your money, a few things happen. You get sick, and then you have to pay for the medical bills.
Really?
Yeah, or like your kids do something bad, and then you have to pay for the damage. So money needs outlet. So it's so interesting how money flows. And if you don't let out your money energies outlet, it's gonna get bad. It's like a pond. If there's no flow, the water gets bad.
Right.
It's like, think about your health. If you eat and don't go to the bathroom,
You get sick.
what's going to happen?
Yeah.
So to stay healthy, you have to eat right. You have to release right.
Yes.
So for hoarding money, I want to ask them, you're eating so much, but what if you refuse? I'm not going to go to the bathroom, for the rest of my life.
Oh my gosh. You'd be sick. Yeah,
Right, and
you'd explode.
and you cannot eat well.
Yeah.
So you have to let your money flow, and then the next flow comes in. So here comes money EQ, the trust part. Trust is the hardest part of money EQ. You have to have the trust that once you let go of money, it comes back. So you don't have the trust. That's why you start worrying. That's why you have doubts about yourself. So instead of attaching to your money, you can say, thank you for staying with me. Just go bless the world and come back with your friends as soon as possible.
Come back. Thank you for being here. Go bless the world. Come back as quickly as possible with more friends.
Right. So it's kind of fun, right?
Sure.
So it's a metaphor. So in your mind, letting go, if you let go fast, it's going to come back fast. So I'm trying to let go of money.
Really?
Yes.
So, how should people be thinking about this so they have enough safety and security? They have enough in the bank for if something goes bad in the economy. They've saved enough, but also they're not just overspending as well. Because some people who have the personality where they just spend,
Yes.
then they go into debt,
Right.
So how do we balance
Yes.
money so that we have enough for, the future
Yeah.
and we're not in debt?
So that's I'm so fascinated with couple counseling and sometimes family counseling. We're trying to have balance. That's what's so beautiful about humankind. Somehow the spender gets married with moneymaker.
Right. Right. Someone's making all the money and someone loves to spend it all.
Right. And so they come in and this person is spending so much money. No, you're making too much money. So you have no time for me. That's why I'm trying to get the stress out by spending money.
Wow.
So you have to have the balance. That's where Zen comes in.
Interesting.
If you're spending too much, you have to start saving. If you're saving too much, you have to start spending. So the prescription I give to each client is different. For some people, the savers, I said, withdraw $1,000 and spend it for nothing in 24 hours.
They probably freak out like,
No, they are okay to the withdrawing part. And so the next few days, a week later, they came back and said, Ken, I withdrew $1,000.
I didn't spend it.
But I spent like $20.
Oh, man.
Because they cannot waste their money. It's against their constitution.
I know people like that. So what should people be spending their money on?
Right.
So they don't feel like I'm just blowing money and wasting it.
I know. So like a moneymakers, they think, is this a good investment?
Yes.
So don't think about it because just enjoy the money flow. You can give it to people. You can throw it away on the floor because somebody's going to pick it up and make somebody very happy. So you can be creative with money. But we are taught from a young childhood that you have to take care of money well. Just what if you just throw your $100 bills on the street? What would your mother say?
Right.
Right. So, but for exercises, I tell people, can you throw away your money? And they show me the expression as if I'm saying you're gonna die in 10 minutes. Like,
wow.
They're gonna So I enjoy so much.
What happens with your clients when you say, okay, go spend a few $100s today or leave money out on the table for someone to pick it up and you do these experiments? What do these individuals say afterwards, a month later, a year later, about giving their money or spending it, not all of it, but some of it in these experiments?
So they realize how much attachment they had toward money. And it's in here. And by the way, my finding shows that the saver type, the people who have attachment for money, tend to have this problem physically. They get constipation.
Constipated, yeah.
So there is that. So they have a hard time letting go of money.
And their waste,
Yes.
their food.
Because they're attached to it.
What happens when we are attached to money?
I think the flow of energy gets stopped. So if you let go of money easily, the more opportunities come easily. But because you cannot let go of money, you cannot receive. So if you let go easily, the more to come. So those people are losing out opportunities. So say I had a friend in my 20s when I asked him to go out and have some fun. And he said, no, I don't want to do that because it's going to cost something. Say, $50 or $100 for a party, right? But just look at what he's missing. He's missing out the opportunity of meeting new people.
Yes.
Like I met many great mentors by attending very expensive seminars. I attended like $200 seminar. At the time, it felt like $1 million.
Yes.
But since I was the only student at the time to attend a business seminar, everybody loved me. So $200.
It's so cool that you're here with all these older people and you decided to show up. Let's mentor you.
Yeah. So I was like a little toy.
Sure.
Like, okay, I want to just play with you. So that was a great investment, for example. So if you let go of money easily, you get so much. So why don't you think of letting go of money and also as almost like a shopping for your memories?
Shopping for memories.
Yeah, because I didn't have to fly. I'm going around the world this time. I'm just meeting up a lot of people. It costs some money, right? But by spending so much money on hotels and airplane, look what I'm having. I'm having such a great time.
Yes.
And
you have experiences, life memories.
Yeah. So when I'm in a senior home sometime in the future, I think of having this conversation with you and meeting up a lot of great people in the world. So I have full of memories. So if you don't spend the money, you don't get all the fun memories.
Right. And what happens to people when they speak bad about money? They complain about it. They live in scarcity. What happens?
Yes, that's a good question. So think of money as a person. I always ask, I talk to thousands of people all the time and just ask a big audience, how many of you love money? If it's a business seminar, they say yes. And then my next question is, how many people do you think money loves you as much? And then say, I love money, but I don't know if I'm being loved by money. But feelings must be mutual, right? It's the same thing with a relationship. Even if you love him so much, if you don't get the same amount of love from the other part, it doesn't mean anything.
So you have to love your money, and your money has to love you. But if you
Right.
speak bad about money,
What would you think?
or you speak bad about people who have money,
Yes?
then why would money love you in return?
Yes. So, exactly. Thank you for answering me. Yeah. So that's exactly what I want to say. If you want to be in love with money, you have to be, you have to respect your money as your best friend or your love of your life. So love on money can love you back.
So what are the best ways that we can start respecting our money better so that our money loves us more and wants to bring more friends?
I always ask my money where it wants to go.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you mean? You have like a few $100s in your hand and you say, where do you want to go?
Yeah, the other day I got a big
Check.
check from overseas. That the book I wrote 18 years ago. It's about $10,000. And then, thank you, money. And I asked money, do you want to stay with me or do you want to go somewhere? And the money said, I hear it in imagination. The money says, I want to go to Cambodia to help kids.
Wow.
And then I remember there is a friend of mine who is doing an orphanage in Cambodia. So that $10,000 is helping kids for fruits and the electricity and the rent for a whole year, like 36 kids. So, and that $10,000 I could have used for something else, but I have already enough. So by asking the money where it wants to go, it went to the right place to bless the kids. So I'm so blessed with happy money. So if I start doing that, the more money comes in. So more money comes in from the world, and I've written 200 books. So like book royalties come from everywhere. So almost like every few other days, I get money from somewhere.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So I ask money, where do you want to go? And then I want to take your family out for dinner. That's good. So we just go. So it's not. I'm not saying that you should spend your money for somebody else. It could be I want to buy a car or whatever that is. So so if you can have some distance from money, instead of like this is all my money, you can be free from money.
Because what happens to someone who has so much extra money at the end of their life and they don't spend it? What do you think about that? Because a lot of people have a lot of extra, but then they pass it down to their families or they put it in trusts and then they give it out to charities. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm just saying that they're missing out a huge thing. They could have seen what your money could have done.
The impact.
Yeah, my mentor, one of my mentors is Junki Yoshida, who is the founder of Yoshida Gourmet Sauce in Portland, Oregon. And he donated something like $8 or $10 million worth of state to Children's Hospital.
Wow.
And he's in his 60s, so or early 70s. So he's still alive, right?
He experiences it.
Right. I mean, usually I hear when you pass away, that goes to something, right? But he donated the big house that all their kids grew up on, donated the huge mansion to the hospital. And I asked him, if I were you, I'd want to live as long as I'm alive. And then when I die or my wife dies together, that can go. And he said, I wanted to see how my money or how my house is helping kids while I'm alive. Don't you think it's selfish? Yeah. No. I think you have all the rights to see how your happy money can help others.
Right.
So if you just hoard your money and then die without doing anything, you are missing out the most fun because you have such an impact. You could have an impact for other people.
Yes.
And I think that's a reward for making so much money.
Right. What is the vision for your money life for the rest of your life? Do you want to die with zero? Are you trying to give more of it away? Are you trying to make more? Are you trying to make your container bigger? What's your vision?
Yeah, I may surprise you, but I'm a money indifferent type.
You're neutral.
I'm not really interested in money.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm not interested in growing my money because I have already enough and I make enough. So I'm not interested in money, even though I'm regarded as a money guru, because money flows enough and goes out enough. So I don't have a goal. I don't have any attachment.
Sure.
And as I said, even if I lose everything, my friends would take care of me.
Right.
So I don't have any thing. But for humankind, I have a vision. I hope in 20, 30 years, or while I'm alive, I want to see human being can be free from money or money worries. That's why I'm doing my work actively in the world, because I don't need to get something out of people. I'm just here to share.
Yes.
And if you know how not to worry about money, you are going to do something else. So my question to the viewers and friends is that if you don't worry about money, just even the slightest bit, what would you do? What is a project that you want to start? And that is something you have to go right away.
Yes. What would you say to parents on the 3 most important things they should be teaching their children?
Okay.
As they get into, after 5 years old, as they start learning about money and the material world, what lessons should parents be teaching their kids about money, in your opinion?
Great, thank you. So I used to, and I think I'm still teaching my child. She's 24, so she's grown up already. But the first thing I would teach is money is fun. So if your kids know that money is fun, so we used to sit on the dinner table, just say, I have this, say, $10,000 to donate. What do you want to do? You can, help rescue the animals. You can help the environment. You can help the homeless people. What do you want to do? And when we give presents, what would you want to do? So my daughter grew up thinking money can do so many wonders. So if all our kids learned money is a magical wand to make people happy, I think people are more excited about getting the money. So they have no negative ideas about money. Imagine what if all the child have never been scolded for wasting their money. I think we'll be so stress-free because a lot of worries come from the need for survival, and it's attached to money.
Right.
So once we are free of money stress, I think our life would be so different.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you can teach money is a fun thing, that is a great starter.
Okay. Number one, teach them money is fun.
Right. And also, I want you to teach your kids about money and emotions, because those things are not taught at school. Because even though your child is grown up with positive attitudes, your friends may not. So they're trying to compete with you of how much they have, allowances, or like, this is my new iPhone something,
yes.
or like, this is my sneakers, or whatever that is. And then people try to manipulate you with emotions. So if you start teaching, you feel bad about money, you feel ashamed of money, you feel guilty about around money. We all feel some emotions.
Yes.
So if you start teaching emotions about around money, I think your kids will be emotionally free from money stress.
Yeah, they won't be comparing themselves to others who have more.
Right.
They'll feel good about themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think related to that, I probably share. I once shared with my daughter. I'm not the wealthiest man in the world. I have enough money, but I don't call myself, the tycoon or whatever that is. Right. I don't have a private jet, right? So, but I'm financially independent and free. So I teach my daughter that about money emotions, and at the same time, I have a lot of emotions too. Sometimes I feel guilty. Sometimes I feel shame.
Really?
Yeah.
Around money or around?
Yes, around money or everything.
Why do you feel guilty or ashamed?
Like say, all my students have less money than I do. So sometimes sometimes I feel I'm taking advantage of other people, right? I don't need to get money. So sometimes I do seminar for free.
Sure.
But anyway, so I feel shame, guilt around money. So I share that with my daughter.
How do we eliminate those negative emotions? Like, how do you get rid of those?
You cannot.
Really?
Because it's
human nature.
As long as you live. Say you're very happy, but if the person right next to you is crying, you
feel bad.
You feel sorry for her. So sometimes you may feel about guilt for being happy. So sometimes I feel guilty when my friends, author friends, saying, "Ken, my books are not selling well." I'm so sorry.
Yours are selling so well.
Yeah. So I feel guilty. I feel shamed. So many things. So I'm teaching my daughter that this is very natural.
Gotcha.
But the bad things happen if we try to manipulate our feelings by compensating, working hard, by saving what. So I'm just joking. If I could become a prime minister of Japan, I'm going to print every note of banking note said, making too much, worrying too much, and spending too much can be hazardous to your health.
I like that. That's good. Okay, so the first thing to teach your kids is
Right.
money. Money is fun. You can make people happy with it. The second thing is to learn about money and emotions.
Yes.
That these things
Right.
are natural to have emotions around it. The third thing the parents should teach kids about money.
More you give, more you receive. So you don't have to work so hard to get the money, but if you want to get more, you have to give more. And to do that, you have to be loved by people around you. You have to have many friends. So to do that, you have to have a good relationships with people. So relationships are everything. And in North America, it's very individualistic. So you eat your own food, you eat your own thing, and since you're 5, you're so used to taking examinations. You never had examinations with 3 of your best buddies and coming up with the right answer.
Yeah.
I think we should, but it's so individualistic. So you cannot talk with your friends while you're having an examination.
You can't collaborate.
Right?
Yes.
Hey, Bill, what do you think? Number 3. Okay, thank you. It doesn't work that way. And then it's up to your 20s and 30s. So especially in North America, everybody seems isolated because you cannot talk about your sexual problems or financial problems, your emotional problems with your best friends. So you hang out and go for a glass of beer and just watch the sports.
Yeah.
But you're missing out the most quality moments, which is share your problems, because your best friend may have the exact problem.
I know, you might have a deeper connection.
Right.
Yes.
So you have to really have this mentality of being supported by friends. So do more and receive more. So by hearing that, you don't have to worry about taking advantage of other people. Something is not fair. The rich is doing something bad. It's nothing. It's not over your problem. You focus on what you give and what you share, and then you receive.
Right.
So as long as you know the rule, you can focus on what you give.
Yes.
And so attached to that, I teach my kids to follow your heart. So just follow your heart. That is a guidance.
I love those points for parents to teach kids. Speaking of parents, and moving to a related topic, how does sex and money play together?
I cannot stop talking. You need 5 more hours. And I think American people are especially interested in this.
Yeah.
Money and sex have something in common. It pulls out the best and the worst of you. And it pulls out the best emotions and the worst emotions. Because they can show you both heaven and hell.
Right.
Because a lot of crimes happen because of these two.
It's true.
So with your financial problem and sexual problem, you get the worst out of you. You hate yourself by being such a jerk or bad girl. So it pulls out a lot of emotions. So you have to be careful because you never know what you get. And because it's so suppressed deep within. But in other words, money and sex can be a great healer because it can transform your life.
You say healer?
Healer.
Healer.
Yes, it can transform your life. That's why I call myself money healer. If you heal money, you can heal so many things.
Wow.
And money and sex are doing the similar things.
Really?
Because it's so attached to your self-worth. Like say, how many people are confident about their sexual situation and financial situation?
Not many. Maybe it's one or the other, but it's usually not both.
Right?
Yeah.
And the people who are bragging about their happiness, they may be exaggerating the situation. And so inside, we feel so vulnerable. We don't know how much satisfaction we're giving to a partner or we're getting from money. So we feel so vulnerable and shameful and guilty around sexual issues and money issues. So it gives you such a great opportunity to look at yourself and who you are. So especially around those two topics, you feel like you want to prove something, that you're good.
And making money and at sex.
Right. And then at the same time, we fail the test.
Oh man, yeah.
By looking at our bank statement, we fail the test. By looking at our partner's face, just a little tiny expression. Oh,
disappointment.
I'm disappointed. Or she or he is disappointed. So there is a lot of discouragement issues and could depression.
Should we try to heal the sexual side first, or heal the money side first?
Whichever you wish. So some people want to heal the sexual thing first, and the other people feel they can handle money. For North American people, sexual issues are maybe a little easier because financial part. I've seen so many people just freeze,
right,
when they are thinking of money. So maybe for North Americans, money could be a little more tough.
So you'd say if you can heal money, the topic of money within yourself, that should support you in healing other areas of your life as well.
Of course, because you don't have to prove yourself. So how much money you have or how much money you make has nothing to do with your self-worth. So I'm just happy. I learned new English expression.
Yes.
I'm such a happy camper.
Happy camper, yes.
So it doesn't have anything with my financial relation.
Yeah.
So if you can find your happiness on your own, you can really focus on what you want to do. Because you don't really care what other people think or how successful I need to be. So if you have that mentality, you can enjoy every moment. Like in this interview, I'm just having a great conversation with you, Luis, right? I don't have to prove my points. I don't have to sell more books. I'm just hoping that our conversation can open doors for people, for their peace of mind.
Absolutely. It's funny you're saying this about healing money, because I've had so many conversations this year from different experts, from therapists, from money experts, from athletes, from just people in life. And the common theme about how to live a better life, your health, relationships, money, business, your sports, and how to be more fulfilled is the first step is to heal something. Heal the past, heal your relationship, heal your relationship with money. It starts with healing first. And when we can create a healing environment, we have more peace. Talking about making peace with your money, healing first. And from a peaceful environment, we're able to flourish. Is that right?
Yes.
We're able to grow. We're able to expand, to see the best of ourselves actualized.
Yes, you said it so beautifully. And it's not just one thing, one time only. It's an ongoing process.
A journey.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm 100% healed. I sometimes cry over money. Sometimes I cry over certain things that happen in my family. I have still a lot of shame and guilt and a lot of excitement and happiness too, because I'm alive.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not perfect at all. So people are surprised. You're a money guru, and how can you feel guilty? But I do. Yeah. And to be honest, that's where I am.
What's the biggest challenge you have yet to overcome in your life? The biggest struggle, challenge?
For me, it's a false humbleness. I'm so happy. So I feel like I don't have to do anything anymore. So I have a nice a retreat center up in the mountains.
In Japan?
Yes. So I'm happy to grow my own veggies, just in my garden. And it's so beautiful flowers. I'm missing them so much while I'm traveling. So I can be so happy with where I am. But I know I can be contributing more too.
Yes.
So as much as I know I can be contributing so much, but I want to make sure that I'm happy as well. So my false humbleness tends to lead me into small happiness. So I'm sort of going back and forth.
Yes.
But coming here and having chat with you makes me so excited about the potential of what I can do.
That's great.
So I appreciate you so much for pulling out the best from me.
Yeah, of course.
So that is my next challenge.
I love it. I'm going to take you up on it, Ken. When I come visit Japan for my first time, I have to say hi to you and you have to show me around a little bit. But I am so excited about the mission you're on, to teach people about how to heal their
Right.
conversations around money and giving us, it's a scary thing for a lot of people. They feel like it's extremely complicated,
Yes.
but you simplify it. You simplify it in this book, Happy Money, which I want everyone to get. Make sure you guys get a few copies for your friends. This is really powerful. You have a lot of great content at kenhonda.com and on your social media. You've got a course as well that people can check out around finding peace with their money, and that's at kenhonda.com. I believe that as well. So I'm just so grateful for you still wanting to live a life of service and teaching us these things, and not just sitting in the garden all day long. But I know you need that time as well.
Yeah, but I probably feel very bored.
Exactly.
Because I wish I could see Louis. And
Exactly. I asked you this question before, but I'm curious if something else has come up for you. So this is the last couple questions.
Yes.
This is called the 3 truths. So imagine it's your last day on earth many years away. You get to live as long as you want to live, but you have to call it your last day. You write another 1,000 books, you do all the things you want to do,
Right.
but for whatever reason, all of your work, your books have to go with you. So we don't have access to this conversation,
Right.
this book anymore. Hypothetical. But you get to leave behind 3 lessons to the world, 3 truths that you would share. This is all we have to remember you by. What would be those 3 truths?
You're asking so many beautiful questions. I'm overwhelmed by that. So I think the first thing I would say is life can be fun. That is probably one thing I would say. And the second thing I would say is when you wonder, jump, is what I'd say. And the third one would be enjoy every moment. Because, something bad, something good, but both can be fun later on. So when you feel a call, just do it. And if you messes up, it's okay. It could be a fun memory in the future.
Yes.
So it's nothing to do with money. Just follow your heart.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Ken, I want to acknowledge you again. Thank you for the work that you do. I want people to get the book, Happy Money. Thank you for your contribution, the way you consistently show up for the world, for your communities, the way you've shown up on this episode and for the School of Greatness community. So I acknowledge you for
Thank you.
your talents and starting to use these talents in your 30s to contribute to so many of us. Final question, what is your definition of greatness?
Greatness is the state that you are who you are. And I think if you're, I learned an expression in English, if you're comfortable with your own skin,
Yes.
I think that is what greatness is. So
you
if
go.
you are truly who you are, on your own style, I think that's greatness.
Ken, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
If you got value from that, then go ahead and stick around for more coming up right now. I love this approach, and this is something I've been doing for years, actually. I can't remember if I learned this somewhere or if I just saw someone talking about this. When I see payments come through in my email or my bank or wherever they come through, I say thank you. I say thank you every time, whether it's $1 or, a big check. I'm like, thank you. I really appreciate it. I don't say thank you when I'm paying something. Why? And I want to try this because I think it's an interesting approach. Why should we also say thank you when we're sending out money to others?
Because if you get a bill, that means somebody did something for you. For example, if it's an electricity bill, because of the electricity company, I can use the internet. I can use the lighting and microphone and computer. And it's not only one-man job. There's this service person, there's this people who are at the power plants, and also there's somebody who just brought oil to Japan from Middle East. And there are, thousands of people working for the electricity, and they make sure that it's in my house installed properly. So there are millions of reasons to appreciate the electricity. And if it's if it's $300 or $500 or maybe smaller or bigger, wow, if I'm asked to install somebody's house with that electricity, I cannot do that with this money. So thank you for just giving me the electricity. Thank you for giving me water. Thank you for serving me good meal at the restaurant. Thank you for giving me a ride like Uber. So you can thank the person who gave you the service and product. So the reason you have to pay, you're getting something in exchange. And usually takes more than one or two or could be 100 people's work. And then you ask the money, thank them too. So that means the money you give to the electricity company will be paid to all the people.
Wow.
So like it's like a magic wand. Even if it's $100, this magic wand will start saying, thank you, guys. So, it'll just it's like a domino effect of thank you. So it's not just thanking your money, thanking the people who are connected with me. So we are all living on this planet together. So if we have this feeling, everybody's feeling this way, we all connected. We all connected with people in the Middle East. We all connected with the people in Russia, Africa, China, US. Like it or not, we all connected. So do we hate each other or do we appreciate one another? So if we start doing more, there will be no exploitation of any kind. That's the economy I want to see in the coming years.
Yeah. It's such a simple philosophy and practice that I think if we can all start to do it a little more with money and with everything, the people that we see, our friends, thanking them when they're coming, thanking them when they're leaving for their time, their attention. My girlfriend does this with our meals every time we eat together. She's really she puts a lot of time and attention thanking the people that just made this, the people that delivered the food to the restaurant, the people who harvested the food, and all the people. And it's not something I did until about a year ago with food. And it's something that I've noticed my digestive system relaxing, like me just taking in the moment and feeling a better sense of joy and happiness while eating food, as opposed to just eating protein bars to get to the next thing. But really appreciating it. And I think when we appreciate things, which I'm hearing you say, when you appreciate money, when it comes, when it goes, when you appreciate food, when you appreciate your home, your family, your friends, those things will appreciate in value and they'll want to come to you more. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, exactly. And Louis, you know what I've been talking about, and you've been practicing it without knowing maybe, but I think you've been doing it as a natural person. There are certain things like a natural business person, natural artist. So you're one of the natural people who just appreciate things. That's why you're successful and people love you. And so if you want to be like, if the viewers want to be like Louis, you have to learn what he's doing. So it's not just small habits, but I think the attitude toward life. And somehow there are the only two kinds. One kind is people who keep appreciating. The other one keep complaining about it. So if you just, it could be something very small, but after 20 years, your life will be very different. So I hope everybody will appreciate one another a little bit more from yesterday.
And what happens if we start complaining about money more, whether it be just kind of frustrated little comments here and there? What happens to money in our life when we complain about it as opposed to appreciate it and thank it?
So if you start complaining about money, like 95% of us, money, just look at from money's perspective. If you've been complaining about it, I don't want to go to him anymore. And then and it's like a mutual feeling is mutual. Okay, you can complain about it. Okay, fine, I'm not going to come to you. So and I think subconsciously, if you're complaining about money, you don't want it to be near you. So my favorite question to people is, if money was a person, who would it be? That means if money was a person, would it be a fun person, always joking, always entertaining you? or is somebody like a assassin, who's going to try to hurt you or scare you, or gangsters who try to, intimidate you. So if you're complaining, money may not be such a fun, good person. So I think by complaining, you make money a villain. And you don't want the scary person to live in your house. So for happy, wealthy people, money is their best friend.
How do we reprogram our minds to either heal or shift our perspective to be ready for the money, the relationship, the healthier opportunity for us?
I think the question should be, what do you need, why, and what do you need the money for? Unless you're clear with what you want to do, I think you will never be ready. I have young people like your young person back then say, Ken, I want to make $1 trillion. I want to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Okay, and I say, what are you going to do with the money? And he says, I don't know. And if you don't know, you don't need it. And then people say, I need $1 million. And my question is, why do you need the money? And they say, I want to feel secure. So do you think 1 million would be enough? And she or he would say, oh, 3 million, please. And then life doesn't go that way. Money comes after what you give out to the world. It's just a reward. I'd say, to be precise, it's just one portion of the prize or reward that you've given out so much to the society. So that's why my mentor said, forget about the money. You have to focus on what you want to put out. So if you put out so much, ready or not, money will come. Mm-hmm. Just think about it. If you come up with a great app on iPhone and then release it worldwide, like or not, ready or not, money will come, flood in. So if you find something that will change the way people live, or if you can offer something to the world that people love enough to pay you, there will be money. So if you get stuck with a mind game, you have to really look at the reality. Otherwise, you have to get stuck in this place of, I have low self-image. That's why I cannot make it. It doesn't really matter. You don't need confidence. You don't need a college degree or MBA. All you need is curiosity. What if I become that? What if I have $1 million? What would I do? And if you're so excited about the way to spend your first $1 million, you will find the shortcut to the $1 million. But by the way, the first $1 million you make, you're going to waste your money anyway. So, as you know,
Yeah.
So, the first $1 million will be spent on something stupid. Somebody takes it. That's sort of like a membership fee.
Yeah, the price to admission. Yeah.
Wealthy people's club. So your first $1 million will be lost anyway, and I've written a book on those. But if you know, and if you have this mission and passion of how to spend your first $1 or $10 million, you are on the right track, because now the energy will support you.
I had a friend, going back to your point about, how much money do you want? $1 million? Well, actually, I'll take $3 million. I had a friend who sold a company for 9 figures recently, and his equity got diluted over time. So he really only came home with maybe 15 or 18 million, which is still a lot of money, but it was a 9-figure business that he created and launched. And at the end of it, he spent a bunch of money on some big party with friends. And then he bought like a boat or, another house. And then he's like, oh, I've only got $7 or $8 million left. And then to live a lifestyle that I'm at now, this only lasts so long. I can't keep
Only
living this way. Yeah, it's only lasts a few years. So it's like, so part of it is adjusting your lifestyle to figure out what you need and why you really need it. And and just being aware of that, because 1 million turns into needing 3 million, turns into needing 20 million, and it's never going to feel enough if you're living in a certain lifestyle. And so what should we be thinking about instead of like, I want to make $1 million? Should we be reframing that in a different way?
First of all, you really have to figure out what you want in your life. Do you want do you want to make it? Do you want to be a success socially? But you could end up being a loser personally. So do you want to be a happy person, or do you want to be a wealthy person? You can take both. But the way to happy and wealthy people only has an opening who aim for happiness first.
I love this, because most people think once I'm there, then I'll be happy, then I'll respect myself, then I'll get the attention I want. But what I'm hearing you say is the only way to happy and wealthy is through happiness first.
Yes. And then if you're lucky, or if it's your destiny, I would say, you may be rewarded with money. But, there are many lives that necessarily money will follow. But you can still enjoy life and stay very happy. Because if you go after money, you're likely to lose everything. Your peace of mind. And those people who put money first, your clients love that. Just think about two florists. By the way, I always carry flowers like this, in front of me. So there are two florists, for example, just nearby your house. One florist, always think of the cost. Instead of 10 roses, I should give 9 roses. Instead of good roses, maybe smaller ones, so they can cut costs, right? The other florist always just bring in the best flowers and always take good care of it, so that it will last on their houses. Where would you go? So if you are good at math and good at business in the short term, they will lose long term. So people who love flowers, and then he or she can talk about the roses for hours. Those people really care that they care about the roses in your house. They're just praying their kids will stay longer, so people can enjoy. And they're not. They might think about the cost, but the love of the flowers is bigger, than the business. But those people are the ones that I think all the clients would go to. So eventually, they will succeed.
The other point of consciousness is where I'm placing my dream. So I'm separate from that experience. So then how do I get to that experience? In three-dimensional reality, you got to get up and you got to do something. And now people are, in a sense, waiting for the experience that's 10 years down the road to take away the lack of them not having it.